Welcome, welcome back, and welcome home, my friends. Welcome home, love beings. Welcome home. My name is Melissa Brace, and I will be your multi-density cosmic tour guide today, and always. So we're going to talk about lessons. I had a spirit message and download that I am supposed to talk about lessons today. So I've had this perspective for quite some time, going through cycle after cycle of cleansing and clearing some heavy stuff out of the collective, and being part of that purpose, mission, support group, or the ground crew of the Starseeds. And what's coming to pass in these next few months and years is that we're going to realize that we don't need to learn lessons that are horrific. It's not helpful. So what we're doing is retrieving our souls, doing soul retrievals, and retrieving the fragmented pieces of us that have been really in bondage and enslaved for tens of thousands of years to different dark energies and entities of that lower matrix. So it was very clear, some of the downloads today, that I was supposed to just share this spirit message with you as spirit and the physical become one. That's what's happening in humanity, and inside of each one of us, our mind, body, spirit, soul forms, our layers of who we are, and our connection with God's source, creator, light, universe, whatever words you like to use, in that purified, Christed way. So what's happening as some of these tremendously uncomfortable things happen in the world stages, as well as in our communities and in our households and in ourselves, is that some of those old pieces that were inverted pieces of the upside down that were impressed, projected, and smashed into us are being undone, reversed. And that can include hatreds and spells and illnesses and diseases and things like that were not ours, that kept us in bondage in the lowest vibrations and in fear. So that's part of the lesson, that it wasn't our lesson. It was partly a trick of the darkness, of the devil, of the fallen Garden of Eden, to say, oh, you're lesser, you don't get to choose, you don't get to have any thought, and you need to learn your lessons. And it gave other people ideas, and that, if they thought you were less intelligent or lesser than them, that they got to learn lessons upon you and teach you things. And that's not really how this works. So the laws of the universe, the real laws of the universe, the purified Christed templates, or the way it was written, the original divine blueprint, is not that we need to learn really dark lessons in a prison matrix. So remember, tens of thousands of years ago, and a million years ago, and hundreds of thousands of years ago, in different civilizations and templates of who we are, of where we've been, of our origins, of our background, it was overtaken by dark entities or energies. And the entities and energies distorted everything, our minds, and they cut off our connection with source. And what comes to mind is the pyramid that was not supposed to be tattooed to my body, but was. The pyramid had, on the dollar bill, for the States at least, has the top of the pyramid disconnected with a hole in it. And that's a disconnection. And humanity, that's the symbol of that, of the inverted consciousness where we were cut off from God's source creator. And now we are coming into that space more and more and more. Inside of ourselves, we're expanding to that connection where we can listen to our hearts and remember who we are. Over the many tens of thousands of years, it feels like to me that it was just distorted and distorted and distorted so much that lessons were really part of what we said to each other. Oh, well, your whole family was murdered and everyone was raped. That's okay. That's just, you need to get over it, because that was 2 days ago. And that was your lesson. That's your karma. And that's a dangerous, dark, distorted web that we weave if we were to be willing to say that to others. And remember, karma is imbalances. And over these next months, Spirit said, it's going to be uncomfortable because some of the designs and programs of the dark lower matrix are going to still keep rising up, trying to cover us up with fear. And again, that could be on world stages, communities, and those rules, those really uptight rules that we're not going to have enough food, that we're not going to have enough health care, we need to be quiet and go inside. Those are not lessons. Those are inverted, designed, dark layer things that were infested into our consciousness, mind, body, spirit, soul forms, all layers, to keep us quiet and in prison. And we're saying, no thanks. It was nice. We forgive you. Back off, scram. And those designs are crumbling. And I'm not saying that all of us, when we come down into this simulated world, are not learning lessons. That's not true. But the karmic wheel and those lessons we were supposed to learn, we've learned them over and over and over, and then our memories are wiped, even in our very lives. So sometimes we can think of it like, if we've reincarnated many times, we come back and we go, oh, well, I'm supposed to learn this, and this, and it's going to be really hard. I should just live through wars and terrible things and bad people. Psychopaths were on my list. Yeah, my list. So those things are not something we need to continue to go over and over and over again. Perhaps we were mean. Perhaps we were cruel in other places, that we do have imbalanced karma where we played out. We were the ones that stole money, or we were the ones that were cruel and misused power. We were the ones, but not to this extent that the designed dark lower devil matrix is making it seem. Those beings that took over have always been like this. It's all they're trained for. So the lessons that they think they get to teach us, bondage, abuse, no. Think about it. God, source, creator, in the purified form connected to your heart, would not be here in vengeance and craziness and wars and killing, and only a few people are elite and others are less or worthless, or only to abuse and use and feed off of. So over the tens of thousands of years, human beings, their essence, their energy, their light has been fed off of by these multidimensional lower energies and entities. We've all known this. We just don't want to talk about it because it's gross and scary. So those beings are being removed, and they have been, and these soul contracts to humanity to be, that we were kind of tricked into or shoved into, in some cases, sort of evil, are being removed, and so are some of those beings continuously over the years. And that's going to continue now as we wake up and be uncomfortable a little bit about what's real and what's not. And we are being called, this is the main part of this, we are being called, even though we are going to wake up to how disruptive and horrifying some of the normal seeming surroundings and conditions have been. Because over and over, let's just look at one of the main ones. Throughout history, over and over and over, someone has an excuse why there needs to be war. And innocent children, men, women, tall people, short people, thick, thin, rich, poor, different skin tones, different voice tones, just weren't important. And that's not true, and it's not a lesson. See what I'm saying? So that's a big one. So how many times throughout history do we have to notice that war is not necessary, and it is to traumatize us, desensitize us, and keep us in that lower energy? I always say this as well, because some of my perhaps experiences in life have been faced with some serious psychopathic people. And it's part of being targeted a little bit. So those energies came here throughout our history as well in different ways. Like, for instance, all of a sudden there were serial killers. So in the 40s and 50s, and we just got out of the Old West. So there was a lot of killing and give me mine and stealing, and it was debauchery all over the place, right? And then we come into being more refined and better. And then again, serial killers all over the place, rapists all over the place. That's kind of normal. Oh, well. And so that came in to desensitize us and say, oh, well, maybe tomorrow will be better and we should just take away people's guns and knives. It's illogical. It's not part of the lesson. It's part of the desensitizing of shoving, imposing, impressing those designed pieces in us to make us feel comfortable in those conditions. School shootings. It was unheard of when I was in school. Unheard of. Never heard of that. None. And then I remember someone went postal, so they call it, someone at the post office somewhere took a gun in and serial killer now killed people they worked with. Unheard of. And then we had Columbine, and then we had the next one and the next one and the next one and the next one. And now it's normal. And all of the things that we had been getting through and refined and integrated, like prejudices between colors of skin tones, or, I don't know, sexual orientation. Why would we even be thinking about those now? Now everyone's re-prejudiced again about something? This is really sad. It's not part of the normal, but it's bubbling up what we haven't addressed to be cleansed and cleared out of our mind, body, spirit, soul consciousness. This is so cool. And to mention some of the grossest, heaviest, disgusting pieces of our humanities history, like school killings and serial killers and wars. That is only to say we're going to unfold, delouse, unstitch that desensitized zombie apocalypse way that everyone thinks it's kind of normal, so that we can see and go, no, to some of the heaviest, darkest things. And what we're going to do is say yes to some of the things that we would want in our daily lives, and we will want for our children and grandchildren and the generations to come, those who will call us their ancestors. And I'm so excited about this. So there's a dual piece to this as we come out of duality and back into spirit, physical, into one Christed energy. Is that it's going to be uncomfortable, and it's going to be wondrous at the same time. And I got a message, spirit message, in the form of a hummingbird this morning as I was kind of cranky and sitting and doing my meditation that I do every day. And the hummingbird came in, and I was just like, what? So I usually ask God, source creator, what magical, mystical things can I know today? How can I help this world today? What can I do? And right then, a hummingbird came in and sat and looked at me and talked to me for a few minutes. I don't know about a few minutes, but about a minute. And said, in that energy, like, remember to keep a bird's eye view, speak what you're supposed to speak, and remember that the things that we need to forgive ourselves for and forgive others for might not have been lessons. It might have been the last grasps of some of the imprisonments in the design of the lower matrix in our daily lives, falling and being unplugged. So some of the people that have hurt you the most, some of the people that you just were so disappointed, hurt your heart, stabbed you in the back, that was the last go of this ever. Because in humanity, in the new earth energy, this new era, those things and those types of people that would harm you, lie, cheat, steal, betray, abuse, will cause wars, will not be allowed in the new earth energy. They think they will. They think they can piggyback on us. They think they can come in and continue to rule in tyranny, but that's not true. And the cool parts are that it'll be uncomfortable as each piece keeps coming up. Is there prejudice in this world? Is there lack in this world? Is there, in these next layers, the bandwidth in humanity that's being cleared? But the cool part is all of you are so awake and aware and knowing that if we, and here's what the hummingbird said, if we keep a bird's eye view and remember to tell each other that we love each other and be the person that we wish they would be. We be the person with honesty, integrity, dignity, honor, and really celebrate, support, and nourish and nurture each other instead of harming each other and trying to step on each other to get, I don't know, whatever, get ahead. And we get to hold and create and manifest past that blinder of lessons that we have all learned 1,000 times over of pain and suffering. The lessons are that we're awakening and that we are ascending, and it's time now to step in alignment over and over and over and over and over into divine universal law. And remember, again, uncomfortable could be uncomfortable. Someone could lie, cheat, and steal about you and in your name. That happened to me in my hometown. I call it the hoedown, using my name, my identity, campaigning. And it also happened here. I was talking to my BFF today, and I go, I just never talk about this because it's just, it's been hard to get through, but you would not believe what they did and said, like, described to me what they did to my life, to my friends, to my family, to my boyfriends, to my career, and to my reputation on purpose. And it was wildly distorted. And so as I go, I forgive, and I'm having a good life. And some of my dreams came true despite the efforts of setups and horrifying things that were untrue. And that was part of my journey out of the matrix. Did I need to learn from the scary stuff? No. But what we do need to learn our lessons from is the love, the forgiveness, the happiness, the fulfillment that is our true natural state of being. And that's the truth. The lesson is we are awakening. How can we help today and treat one another with dignity, respect, and honor, and no longer treat with dignity, respect, honor, and celebrate darkness and those things that came here to hold us down and to just torture, just evil. So I'm excited about the theme of love for the lesson and the awakening. The lesson, we all came here to do this. And those of you who resonate with being chosen, anointed, indigo child, starseed, healer, empath, you know inside what's right for you, and your next missions and purposes will become more clear and more clear. You're going to have more inspiration. And remember, the lesson is take a bird's eye view sometimes as you rise above some of those lower designs and help hold humanity in that place of happiness, love, wholeness, radiance, joy, truth, richness, prosperity, because there is enough for everyone. And, you know, like the old saying says, it takes a village to build, teach each other. And those are the lessons that we're going to learn from. They're good lessons. They're lessons of peace, love, joy, freedom. And that's your natural state of being. Harmony, fun, laughter, abundance, fulfillment. Remember, many of you are going to have inspirations of where you belong, with whom you will belong with, and how you want to go forward in the next days, weeks, and months, even if it's uncomfortable, as you forge ahead above the bird's eye view, like the hummingbird was showing me this morning. And I think we'll all have signs and messages and downloads from Spirit reminding us on our own particular journeys and reminding us to open our hearts on our own particular paths so that we know which direction to go. And again, who we belong with, how. That reminds me of the hummingbird as well. My friend, I was talking to my BFF, and I got the message when I was, just talking to God, meditating, holding that love that I needed to call my friend, who reminds me, ironically, of a hummingbird she's very colorful. I have some sleeves. Very colorful. And I got to call her, and it was in my heart to call her and tell her I loved her. And not just tell her, just to help her feel it. And she gave that back to me too. So it's time to give and receive. That's also a lesson. Not blocking, taking, stealing, abusing, bullying others, but giving and receiving. Part of the lesson of awakening. So lessons. And it was the best thing ever to be able just to tell her I loved her. So if there's anyone that you're thinking of that you just love, even if they don't love you back, maybe it'd be a good time to text or call or remind them that you just love them and recognize them as soul family, soul tribe. And our souls are being cleansed and clear. Mind, body, spirit, soul forms are every layer of who we are and connecting with source again. So just know that that's part of the lesson. Welcome home, you guys. Welcome home. I hope this was helpful and good. And just know that I see your light. I see your beautiful star inside of who you are. I believe in you. And I'm just going to pull a starseed card. If there's any more spirit message that could help us a little bit. I don't need cards, but I just love that we can sort of get inspired and learn a little bit by some of the messages. 2 came out. So the first one I've got is vision. Vision indeed. Part of the lesson is the awakening out of the blindness, and the vision that you hold can help us build this beautiful new earth energy. Trust in your ability to create the vision in your soul. Your soul is being reconnected to source. We've been doing those soul retrievals for decades, and humanity is coming home. Love this. So hold a vision of whatever you do want. Happiness, abundance. What do you want to be around every day? What do you want your life to be like for the earth? So hold the vision for Gaia. New earth. Rebirth. The lesson is we're awakening, and so is she. So to connect to the pulse of Mother Earth, she will guide you through this time of change. Ascension, awakening. And for all of you, I ask grace and happiness and love and peace, harmony, perfect order. Welcome home, you guys. Welcome home. No more hard lessons. Awakening lessons of love, joy, peace, harmony. If anyone wants an appointment, let me know. Information is in the box below. And I do thank you so much for all the likes and shares and subscribes. Thank you for the comments. Thank you for the suggestions. Thank you.